Wizard of Oz can't undo what I've done. Completely out of luck this time. I'm stuck in reverse. I gotta get away now, but I can't seem to take the lead. Oh baby, how could I know there was no second chances? Like dominoes, my life got really scattered. Still, I find myself hoping that you'll find your way back to me. 'Cause I've been stone cold since you left me here. So come home, why won't you reappear? Things that I said came out totally wrong. Can't speak of the truth when it's tainted. I fell into a big black hole. It got me stone cold. You got me stone cold. You got me stone cold. You got me stone cold.
always think of you when spring comes, like it's something in the air at that time. Don't know why, always dream of you when spring comes. It's like the heat on my skin takes me back to the time met you on a Friday, halfway out at the door of the club, playing soul on the weekends. Stayed in bed till Wednesday, fell in love with you right there and then. I was young, couldn't see that. Couldn't see that. Leather jacket though it's too cold. Saw your face in the crowd and I think without eyes, her just perfect, yeah, she's beautiful. Never thought you'd be here, it took me by surprise when I met you in the doorway. And a friend of a friend, never thought I would see you this soon, but hope she really loves you, 'cause I swear you deserve everything. Wish that I knew that sooner. We got sober, it was over, but I told you I'll do it all over again. At your place over spring break, a heartache, I'll do it all over again. Do it all over Tell me a lie, and I tell you too. I say that I'm happy for the two of you. You wanna be friends, but I don't think I can. But I wanna be happy, happy for you.
Talk to me nice, talk to me honestly. Look in my eyes, don't let it fall on me. Say you're a good guy, make me believe it. Don't wanna hear it, I wanna see it. See how rewind, when we rewind, feels so nice. We time, you I know how to make me feel right. I can't help how. Got this sweet talk, I'm already on my way. I'm pulling up, don't be late. I'm cutting through all the lanes. Sweet talk, you need to say less to me. No need for no flowers, babe. I'm already on my way, on my way. Why you blushing? Yeah, sweet concussion. Oh, you miss my touching. Good girl. Show me something, give me more than one thing. I need more than less than I do. Say you're a good guy, make me believe it. Don't wanna hear it, I wanna see it. See how rewind, when we rewind, it feels so nice. I can't help how. Got this sweet talk,
Hello and welcome to Buell Playday 6, where we're going to see our first match off be the battle of the Combat Wombats versus the Aces. And I'm here with my good friend and beautiful co-caster, Whippet. He is stunning as ever. Look at that man in that fabulous Buell merch.
Exactly, it's a great fit. Buell Anniversary merchandise. Go grab yourself some over Gamers Apparel. It's absolutely fantastic. I can confirm this. Wouldn't want anything more. I wouldn't want to wear anything less for this broadcast. Of course, you said the matchup we have starting off our Playday today will be the Combat Wombat versus the Aces, and you've done a little bit of digging into this. You say it's the Battle of the Smokes. I cannot wait to see that, because if you just throw your minds back to SI, that the SMG-11 on those SAS operators was such a pivotal part of those games. Will we see some magic with that one arrive today? I'm certainly hoping so.
Yeah, we've got some really good players lined up here tonight for you, so let's go to those stats and show you how good they actually are. So, first of all, I can't remember, it's, I think, yeah, I'm doing Aces. So, first of all, we're going to talk about Aces. Aces, Sandanos is leading the way with their 1 rating there, with a 1.505 KD. 60% cost, that's about what you'd like to see from any sort of player. You want to see it above that. Any sort of cost below, you're going to start, in my opinion, you're struggling a bit as a player.
Well, on the side of Combat Wombats, we built down the roster. We got Swanee, Beyond, Magpie, Call Me, Dicta, and Nathan. No stats for Swanee, unfortunately, but as we dig down them, we're just going to be able to see that, well, these are a pretty well-rounded team. The distribution of ratings are all pretty close to each other, so there's no real standout player. The only somewhat exception you can see that is going to be Nath on that 1.12 rating, and then a strong KD to stand by that. But the spread pretty close between these teams, so I will say this will be an interesting one. And again, drawing back to what you said, the Battle of the Smokes, Call Me Dicta, she is going to be one of those smoke players with Combat Wombat, so keep an eye on that one as this plays out. And I tell you what, it's going to be absolutely fantastic when we see them go head-to-head on server.
Yes, it will, and hopefully we'll be subject to a really good and close matchup here between these two teams. As you can see, the stats were reasonably around the same for both teams. I missed it as well, Die at the bottom as well with the 1.08, so clearly also a strong competitor for the Aces. Yeah, I must admit, it's going to be, I think, really close matchup between these two teams. But we're going to see what maps we've got for them to play on as well.
So maps are going to be a massive part of this, and I have a feeling we're not going to see anything too wild. We're in the middle of the season, and so teams who are developing stuff for the later stages are going to keep that hidden for a little bit longer. So Chalet, Cafe are first to be removed. I mean, Cafe, a pretty crutch, or one of those strong maps inside of the European region, so seeing that pulled away as a prizing sight. Coastline and Bank next to follow. Bank, the newest addition, of course, to our competitive pool, so perhaps these teams haven't wanted to adopt to it. You've seen more of this league so far with your cast. Has Bank been a prominent feature so far?
No, it hasn't. We've been seeing a lot of Clubhouse, Oregon, a bit of Villa every now and again. I haven't kept up with some of the other play days because I've been working, but from what I've been aware of, Bank has not been a majority pick for many teams on this, and I think the reason for that is probably these teams are either developing strats for it or unwilling to go to a map like Bank until there are like stable sort of metas, positions to go to, and strats to possibly use. That's my theory behind it anyway, because it's still being reworked out in the Pro League level scene in Tier 1. So until then, I think it'll be a while. We might see it towards the end of the season when teams want to bring out a surprise map, their wild card pick, and really show us what they're capable of on Bank.
Certainly. So there's going to be a good chance to see some development with that, with the major going on as well. So Villa, Oregon are next to go, and that leaves us with the one, the only Clubhouse. Well, a stable of essentially every league, every region, every level of Rainbow Six Siege. It is basically Core Siege summarized. It's been around for so long, it's well understood, it's well developed. We've seen less changes to the overarching strategy, but we have seen changes to how teams rotate around the sites. They like to go away from CC. That win rate for the defense has begun to fall away because it's been the primary site for how many years at this stage? 4 or so.
Almost 2 years.
So everyone has figured it out completely, and they know exactly how to solve all the problems that CC and Cash can provide.
Yeah, it's been a really interesting map overall to watch as the meta develops, and it's now really awesome to see it actually change and evolve into something else and something completely different. We've seen the attacker win rate also increase on this map, simply because the attackers have this map worked out, and it is a tick box map. You have to complete certain tasks in order to move on with your attacks, otherwise it can all normally fall flat and leave egg on your face as you're sat wondering what the hell happened during the round.
Yeah, I think you're there perfectly. You make one mistake or you skip a step. You're too overzealous. You know, you find an opening kill and you decide to cascade a bit too aggressively and you leave yourself overextended. You can get punished hard. And when you think about this, all sides, bar for the exception of Barstock, which I think just it's not even Barstock anymore, but just the legacy that maps or that site's left behind, it's not going to be picked up by many teams. I've yet to see it realistically played, but all of the 3 core rotation sites are rather strong if set up correctly, and they give a lot of options to both the defense and the attacking side of how they want to approach them. And for a map that is the age of Clubhouse, that's a pretty impressive feat. It does leave a lot of opportunities for teams to try something new, but I do say we're going to swing a little bit more to a generic matchup of Siege. It's going to be your ABCs. It's not going to be going for the wild card. They're not going to go to the back page of the strat book for this one. It is going to be plain and simple. Get the job done, get the walls open, get the bomb down, and try and cover your flank best you can if anyone's daring enough to roam.
I could see a little bit of wildcard action come out because, like I said, both teams are so proficient on this map. We've seen them both here before, and we've seen them both give up really good fights on this map. So just a bit of previous background information, we had Aces play Ranked Monkeys and absolutely wipe the floor with them. They smashed them to pieces, 7-3, and they were extremely aggressive and took Ranked Monkeys completely off guard with that. And then we also had Combat Wombats with a very narrow loss against Alpha to 6-8. Showing also their proficiency on this map. So, like I said, 2 very good Clubhouse teams that are going to smash in the middle. We could see one of them try and trip the other one up by going to that, well, it's Bar Stage now, isn't it? Bar Stage site. And it has been played in Tier 1 leagues, and there are sort of strats for it. But they're still new, they're still being tested, and they're still being felt out. So, might not, but definitely we're going to see a change up in the order in which sites are played first with these teams.
Yeah, certainly. So, I mean, maybe you might see the teams go for that default rotation, because it is, I think it's still a daunting task to go and decide, let's go Gym Bedroom first, because we've been playing this map in its current format for so long, so, you know, comfort pick almost, being able to go CC down the basement, then the Gym Bedroom. But I have to say, Gym Bedroom is a super effective site when set up correctly, and you can waste so much time with that extension down towards server room, where you can make it an absolute nightmare to gain any control and force a heavy commitment either up the stairs, through the logi hatch, or through that open jacuzzi wall, if you can even get it open. Likelihood you're going to be able to, but even then, that's another problem to solve. That makes the site very strong and viable at all sorts of levels. I wonder how that one's going to play out, but one thing about Clubhouse you always kind of see is that gamble on a roam presence when you go for a downstairs hold. It can work out massively. We've seen so many times players pop up from inside a strip
standard
club.
now.
Yeah, it is, but you still have the fact that an anchor setup can work absolutely effectively and not have as much risk away. If you know a team is very systematic and they'll go for that top-down entry, they'll set up their drones and they'll take those extra seconds to check every corner, every position, you can just commit no one and allow their own methodology to really break them down and waste time away. But throwing a roamer up there can really be, a roamer upstairs or in strip, or even a dual roam presence could be a nightmare to deal with. Or you may even see an SSG 2-1-2 styles set abroad, and I always love to see them.
Yeah, we can see that, and as well, the castle buff will definitely help with that. He has now had an increase from 3 barricades to 4, making him a hell of a lot stronger operator, and also extremely useful for the aforementioned gym site as well. So you can now lock off a hell of a lot more windows and almost lock off the entirety of the balcony outside, giving the opposition the chance to look in. You can lock off construction window, master window, gym window, and then gym door, and that really just hampers the attacker's ability to actually pick open the site a lot easier, so it gives you a lot more hardline positions to hold.
Yeah, that change to castle, I think, was absolutely brilliant, and it really does you know, bring him so much as an elevated pick because it brings a lot of more versatility. How many times have you found in strategies where you've got your 3 barriers down and you want one more? That always extension. It makes extensions so much easier and gives a lot of kind of comfort in that safety net of you can extend a little bit further away and have extra cover, extra angles cut off, and force another commitment of a utility piece from the attacking side. So that could be a massive factor, and considering how important that utility can come down to in a map like Clubhouse, because you can be faced with utility checks throughout the map, whether it's taking control of CC or getting that execution to work downstairs. You know, you have to have the right amount of utility, you have to be able to set up and use it correctly, and that will be a factor to watch between these teams as we begin to dive into this action.
Yeah, it will, and I'm just excited for this match. I'm interested to see what they ban as well, because we've got, like I said, 2 teams that play a very stock Clubhouse. The bans will really actually help come into that. So, for example, we could see a Hibana ban, and Hibana. Now, let's talk about the real big change to Hard Breach, which is you now get 2 of those new secondary deployables. Also, which allows you to bring a so much more flexible lineup from the attacking side, and Hibana ban is probably not as effective as it once was now.
No, you got to think offers like Buck, for example, that you can use for verticality. It brings that potential. You now have 2 of those charges. Stick them on 2 hatches, easy as you like, and it's quick, it's easy, it's not a lot of effort. You have to think about it, and it's time to dive on in. No more waffle, no more analysis, but you have predicted what bans you're expecting to see.
Yes,
don't tell them yet. I think hold on until we see if you got your prediction right, but you have made a prediction, and I do wonder how this will go. I've went in my head pretty basic with how I think these bans are going to go. I think it's going to be a Thatcher, Maverick, Mira, Kaid. That's what I'm thinking. So will I be proven wrong? Well, instantly, yes, I am.
Well, that was one of my aforementioned predictions, and that is the Hibana ban coming out because, well, she is the Hatch Queen. She is able to... The one thing, the one advantage she does have over the secondary Hard Breach is the denial possibilities. She can only put 2 of those pellets down and really bait out those impact grenades and cause you an absolute nightmare when you're on that bottom site there. And well, second ban is the default ban for most maps these days, and that's sending the old man of Thatcher into his retirement home to wonder where his life has gone wrong. We're next going to see Kaid banned out, and again, it's a pretty standard usual ban for this because electrifying those hatches definitely makes life a hell of a lot more difficult for the attackers.
Yeah, this is going to be, I think, a pretty stock one. Once you see a Thatcher gone, it's almost a guarantee on a map like this. Kaid's going to be next, and Wamai is going to be that ban, so... the final one coming out the Force. Again, he got a buff. The recharge rate on those discs are a little bit quicker, so they can deny more utility. It forces commitment on relying on a Rooney Gates and a Jaeger for that. Would have perhaps seen maybe a Jaeger van can be a little bit more impactful if you do want to take away a catcher, but oh my, those discs can be placed up in very difficult to reach angles you can't reach without hard commitment inside the building in areas such as the garage. So this is a pretty smart choice coming out, and we'll see that CC and Castrum the first to be brought out, which I mentioned that perhaps you'll just see them out of comfort going for that default rotation, and it looks like at least for aces that's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, and I don't think we'll see the same for Combat Wombats. I've seen them go to basement first and then to gym and almost completely leave the CC till last. So it'll be really interesting to see when these teams actually swap sides, if that does come to a fruition. But we'll have to obviously wait and see until then. The 6th pick was brought out, but unfortunately too late, so the Thunderbird is stuck from the side of Aces, and now we're going to get real stuck on into the action as we head on in.
So Thunderbird getting stuck isn't a worst case scenario to bring out. You know, if you take a risky gunfight, you come out worse for wear. You can always get yourself top back on the force stations. You can never really argue with the benefit of being able to retake fights and that extra trade potential that does provide you. Valkyrie on the board for that extended information. I'd imagine we're going to see a couple of those cameras chucked out towards construction to keep an eye on that back push if it does arrive from the western side of the building.
One operator that actually has been allowed through, which actually surprised me, is the Valkyrie. Normally Valkyrie these days has been a staple ban simply because of the amount of information those black eyes can give, and we've seen a lot of teams just not to go for it. They don't want to get rid of it. They don't want to deal with it. They don't want to have to bring the IQ with them. And her being actually allowed and no IQ being brought by the Combat Wombats could really be a difference maker here.
Certainly could be. Something with the Maverick on board. We're going to be able to see that Maverick trick occur. Likely just going to send up a nade, be able to deny it that way. And I think, no, he's going to go for the full-on trick. No one's there to directly assist, though. Be able to open that up. The buck Magpie will rotate, of course. And that's going to be Magpie on the buck, as we mentioned. That potential will have that secondary hard breach utility, but hasn't opted for it. Wheeling the flashbang, so can burn away utility with that. Maverick trick is taking time, but it's going to be proficient.
It is going to be, and so far it's you want to be a little bit faster with those. Normally one of the best ways to do it is to lay down and then like not aim and just drag it across. That's one of the fastest ways to do it. However, it can be a little bit unreliable and get you sometimes stuck. However, they've got the wall open now, and Buck has breached it on open with that shotgun. So now we're going to start seeing the real work commences from the side of the Combat Wombats, and we're also going to see the first pick as well. Go, Sandona's taken off the board, and there goes the Bandit. No more tricking for you.
AK-12, always something potent face on up, and here comes utility clear to get the Thunderbird off the rafters. That spear does a lot of damage, and with those ADSs there for coverage, those flashbangs have seeped through after excessive use. The nade will land perfectly. No, it's caught by ADS on the refresh. Count your lucky days for that one. Stays alive and in this fight. Our Kona stations to keep topping up. We'll be able to find one. Swanee falls on the climb up the stairs, but doesn't last too much longer as Nath is there to find that kill of the M4. Sings its song from inside his server. Looks for a second, but shut down by the SMG-11. The Battle of the Smokes has started with the first SG-11 kill of the matchup, and now control somewhat forfeited. You've got rafters, but can you make this cross? You've got to commit to using that window, so that can be held from red, and no one's on the balcony as of yet. A rotation has arrived, and that will be the IQ. Opening up that breach gives an extra layer of rotation, and the soft breach from that buck has now opened up an angle that they can use to vault in. They've got options, but what can they do with this potential? Plant will go down, coverage is here, the smoke lands, and it's absolutely perfect. Choking out, the ace gets the kill, and it's going to 30 seconds remain.
30 seconds left indeed, and Dumfries is now going to keep Magpie out of... Oh no, sorry, Dicta out from stepping on in through the breach. He really has to keep her on lockdown, otherwise they might have a chance to walk on in and look to hold the plant as it goes down. Magpie now really sticking it this time, as Matums appears to be out of smoke babes, but Dumfries manages to pick up the double and clutch the round out for the Aces. A brilliant display there. Oh, and a team kill coming out because Dumfries wants it overall.
Gotta give him credit. He put the effort in. He gets the defuse. All the credit for him.
I also am quite annoyed the fact that I missed the IQ. They did bring an IQ after all because they did read into the Valkyrie pick. Whoops. Oh well.
Yeah.
Live and learn.
Yeah. You've got to learn that. I mean, IQ is an op that we don't actually see a lot right now.
No.
Because in the grand scheme of things, yes, she can be used to identify the Valkyrie cameras. She can be able to pick out this information and deny them vertically. But what else does she realistically bring? Good weaponry, but utility-wise, you can't do a lot with her. Give her nades back is simply what I'm saying. That would be lovely. I think everyone will be happy with that one. But she needs a little bit of a...
She needs something, though, doesn't she? She needs something more to make her a viable pick in this meta. We are going to see the IQ and the Valkyrie stuck again, so we are going to see a battle of those two badasses. Ironic, since we are in the badass league as well. So, it's... Yeah, I'm struggling to think what she might get in order to buffer, because we've had an IQ with nades before, and it was really strong because, well, IQ just turned into a fragging operator, quite literally, because she has one of the best LMGs in the game, in that of the G8. She then has the ability to spot out gadgets and see other operators like Vigil and maybe a Pulse. So again, those nades can be absolute hell to play against, and I don't think nades is the play. Maybe flashes for IQ to help burn utility just that little bit more. Just allow her to be a bit of a utility burn as well, and then have the ability to use those grenades. Sorry, use those flashes and burn it all out for utility, and have someone else do the work.
Or she could have a little bit of a rework to her gadget. I mean, I'm Just saying, there was a cinematic for the battle pass talking about a wrist-mounted something. What
Yes,
operator has
that's a
something wrist?
possibility.
Yeah, you know, there was some artwork with IQ at the Nighthaven HQ. I wonder what could be going and planned for the future with that outfit. I don't know. Just speculating.
Ubisoft, I think they have mentioned that they have plans for giving IQ a little bit more of a buff than she has recently, because she did get a small one in that she is now able to ping stuff. But who cares about the fact when you can ping stuff when Sandanos is going on a rampage and picking up a triple? Whoa, my God! He might even get a fourth, but no, he's going to run back through cash. His work is done. The Combat Wombats have simply been destroyed in a single blow, and there's still 2 minutes left on the board.
I mentioned how with a commitment of utility you can make server a nightmare to take. Just throw Sandanos and an MP7 in there, and everyone seems to fall. One by one they walk in, and one by one they meet their fate. Undamaged and unfazed, seeming the aces, is that's gonna be Dai who pops up, finds one more, making this a 5 versus 1, and the odds are with Sandanos, who finds 4, and a flawless round for aces. I mean, take a bow with that one, where it started, where it finished, it inside of server with an MP7. That was, I think, simply, you went in one by one, you committed everything to walking into server, there was no intel, no hot drone, no one ready. And the defense bandit, Sandanos especially, took complete advantage.
He did, and by God, was it just awesome to watch. I mean, I've never seen the MP7 just flick onto heads so quickly and just take them off the shoulders, because my God, was it fast. Dumfries is going to be looking to, well, the 6-pick will come out, and unfortunately Class won't be picked, but instead go for the Maestro as they look to go for the basement site. And Buck as well also brought alongside. So Buck's going to be used to tear up that floor. The real danger here, though, is going to be, again, the Valkyrie and the fact that there is going to be a Buck ripping up the floor, probably in kitchen. Buck better be careful, because if he isn't, he's going to get C4'd. And we've seen it plenty of times here on Clubhouse, that when you go to start playing the vertical play, you quickly lose out, because all it takes is one C4 and you've lost one of your best operators.
Massive blows. I do actually love seeing when Rooney and Jaeger playing together, because you can just be such a nightmare with that one. Having those ADS, but the ADS will be committed inside of dirt. Will we have a smoke committing up there as well with the shield to be able to deny that? Likely position for it if you do see a lot of T1 playing, as we see Madums making the retreat of the dirt now. Yeah, that will be the Bastion setup. So that will not be an easy take if you want to do a kitchen dirt drop. But we've seen, especially inside T1, you do witness a lot of the time that once that smoke falls, that can be the linchpin. That really opens up everything. And really opens up around, gives that potential. So it does look like at least the early establishment is going to be that double layer vertical getting set up instead of Logi, so they can open up the floor in Logi, use that skeleton key to go another layer down inside a kitchen, and do that without the threat of a C4. So this will be a nasty one to fight, as Dai is playing down below, inside of bathroom. He has that potential to catch anyone who goes down those stairs, and no drone presence has been established so far. The Gemini Replicator will be able to gather that information, but the Valkyrie plays it careful. Trigger discipline, but finally letting loose, not knowing if that was real or fake, taking the chance, and, well, it was a 50-50 split, of course, it was going to be a Gemini. So Valkyrie's position now known inside of jungle. Sandanos gets aggressive in the Rooney. Who needs a larger magazine when you hit your shots? The opening kill goes for the Rooney on the Roman. I just want to say, Combat Wombats, where's your drone game? This is a really poor amount of intel that you're gathering. You just, okay.
A little bit of a team fire come out. See, clearly not expecting Sandanos to be there, just wandering around. Dai just, you know, having a little bit of a moment. But Sandanos also still continuing his rampage from the previous round and now finding a double kill onto poor old Dicta. And going for a third as well, as they aggressively try to spray down Swanee and Kitchen, and they're going to think better of it now, but Bionk is looking to find the kill and swiftly remove Sandanos off the board. He is low, but can he find the kill? That's the real question. These two are battling dangerously around each other. One in the bar, one in the billiard section. Who has the bigger balls from the billiard section? And it's going to be Sandanos again to find another, but he is quickly traded back out by Magpie.
Sandanos is having an absolutely fantastic matchup so far. 3 rounds in and 7 kills with their name. It will be a 3 versus 2. Make it a 3 versus 1 as the Combat Wombats just cannot get a grasp on this round, on this attack. Falling one by one, the camera being shot at will be the dinner bell rang. The shots are initially missed, diving and darting down the stairs once more. An M67 for your worries, and it lands. An opening, perhaps it will make this a 2 versus 1. Can Swanee isolate this fight, but as time drains away, only pressure will mount. Even a GN for good measure as well. So, lunchbox recovered. What sandwiches are inside for us tonight as we go down to work? Gemini Replicator sent out, but this angle from Nadian with the LMG primed and ready. Surely this is all she wrote, committing that final grenade to that Saria, and choked out by the Toxic Babe. There's the spray, not enough to down her kill. There's an opening, but caught by the Saria gate. It's all but over. Yes, it is. Walks on in, and the SMG-11 leaves no prisoners. Another round for Aces.
Well, there it is. Aces have brought back the aggression that I saw and witnessed on Clubhouse last time against ranked monkeys, and it is absolutely doing wonders for them because Sandanos now a double round rip around essentially as he just completely tears up every single plan the Combat Wombats have laid in order to pick apart a basement defense. And my god, it's just a masterclass in roaming. I do admit that the Wombats do have to improve on their drone game. That's something they really have to, buck up onto, because they aren't finding these roamers and they're not bothering to try and deal with them either. And it's going to be a pain for them, and it's going to hurt a lot, especially in the next few rounds, if they decide not to. But the one thing I will say is Aces are playing so aggressive that I don't think even if their drone game was improved, it would matter.
I just want to kind of draw back to what just happened in the all chat. So then I was saying they punched an entire rotate with Rooney while Buck was in Logi.
Oh.
An entire one.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Can't really let that one happen. Surely that's going to be audible. That's large.
It's going to be very audible. I mean, when you've got someone going, "Here's Johnny," right next to you or behind you, you're gonna hear it.
Sure. I mean, even if the audio cue or not, someone should be up there with the Buck. You shouldn't leave your verticality and those two potential. Sandanos can be first of all. That's gonna come back to your aggression, perhaps. No, actually not first of all. Goes down, and the trade-off happens. Sven downstairs, inside of the garage by motorcycle, has a chance. This is going to be a risky revive. The panel inside of garage has been left unreinforced. Unsure if that's just an odd usage of their resources, or they intended for it, but with a Thunderbird in play, Sandanos can just recover the full HP, and I have a feeling that's exactly what this rotation is there for. Look at all these Kona stations primed and ready, so Bandit's going to get himself topped up nicely, and it's almost like no engagement happened at all, apart from the fact that Mike Pye's in the grave.
We could actually see Dai actually really take advantage, because they do have a Valkyrie Black Eye outside looking onto the player who's playing around garage, and it's going to be a team kill come out. Zeven onto Santanos, and well, he's definitely gone. He's not down, but not out this time. Zeven does find Call Me Dicta though, and is going for a second. That's the quad kill coming out from Zeven. If it's, well, technically the ace if you include his teammate as well. It's now left to Natty, but he's not going to be able to do anything else because the rampage of aces continues.
I am a little bit at a loss for what Combat Wombats are trying to do. You can see clearly that they want to clear rafters and the main breach. It hasn't worked yet. They perhaps should have went for a push towards Jacuzzi side and construction. Maybe have that option available to them, but a full commitment to the eastern side of the building hasn't worked for them now twice in a row. But they had everything set up. They knew what they wanted to do. They just couldn't get any of it done. Because Magpie dying so early in that fight in garage left the skeleton key off the board, so they didn't have that easy use to open up that wall. Exactly. As they committed more and more bodies to clear rafters, more and more fell. At that point, it's a battle of dwindling returns. You've got to decide and make that call to go, alright, not working. We've lost some pretty critical parts of this push. Let's mix it up. Try something new and different. And perhaps that call was just made too late. 4 rounds now, uncontested from the aces. And the aggression you brought up with how they're playing, hasn't been matched yet. Combat Wombat seemingly just stumped by the fact that gunfights are arriving thick and fast, and they haven't really had a solid answer just to the gunfights alone.
Exactly, and that's why I say that the drone game is not going to be the saving factor here for Combat Wombats. You can drone out as many players as you like, but information in Siege is only good for about 5 seconds, and the fact is that Aces are playing so fast, so loose, so aggressive, that by the time the Combat Wombats try to act on said information, it's gone. They're already gone, they're already somewhere else, and they're already causing mayhem, like I said, in a completely different position, and most of the time, removing a player with them at the same time. So, Combat Wombats have to look to up the aggression and look to actually just work together. Either have someone hot drone in on the entry, because that's not being done, as far as I'm aware, or you need to start dual swinging stuff, because they are not winning their own single gunfights. It's very rare and few and far between. The kill feed right now for Combat Wombat shows no one has more than 3 kills on the board. Magpie is leading the way with 2, and that was the double he got when we went to that basement defense, and those were, quite frankly, pity pickup kills.
Yeah, so a little bit of better drone work. At least they spotted out the mirror. They know they're contested with it, but they didn't have that potential of pushing someone in behind it. Perhaps they should have went and waited for the breach to be open, then hot droned in to get that initial control. It just seems like they're being a little bit too slow on the draw for some of these positions, and now you see the mirrors falling back inside of Cash's secondary fortress to work with and cause as much chaos as possible from. And they're so slow here. There's no hot drone. This is going to be forced to do this alone.
Do you want to know why they're so slow? It's because everyone's doing everything by themselves. They're droning themselves in, and, well, Die is just going to get the C4 from underneath because they had info, because well, that was the IQ as well. That's the IQ, who should be looking for those Vault cams.
It was
That's
also
big,
a pre-play C4 as well.
Yeah, that was probably a different call that was made, but the real thing is, the real difference maker here between the way the two teams are playing, Aces are playing together. They're working off of each other. They're using each other. Wombats are not working together as a team. They are individually droning stuff, droning themselves out, and that's not the play. You need someone to do it for you. Your support players should be doing that for you. You shouldn't be doing it alone. We are going to see them finally start to buddy up, but the real question is, are they actually going to work together and communicate effectively enough for it to matter? That's the real question.
Well, they have control of Logi, and they can deny rotation for construction from that mirror. Magpie will find mate. So this is a massive opening. That's going to be Zevin finding a Magpie, and there's that trade arriving. So it's going to be a commitment from Jacuzzi and as well as Logi, but Swanee is solo and tries to hold off that rotation, but it's already been made. Zevin holding and playing around this box, knows the mirror window can compromise, but doesn't need to commit, can just sit and exist. Pressure is just coming from being alive at this point. Nath gets aggressive and creeps in this site. Bathroom's being left open. The ace will fall, gets aggressive in Jim, and 2 kills arrive. It's going to be a 1 versus 1, but down below, no C4 in hand, will be that Valkyrie, but the defuser left alone. And that's going to be another round for Aces, a closer attempt, but the clock ultimately strikes demise for the Wombats. And I have a feeling even if that diffuser could be recovered, Valkyrie was most of the way up that main stairs and 000 was dawning. It would have been a nightmare. So Aces 5 rounds. I'm going to safe to say, at least uncontested now, because yes, it came down 1v1, but they never really had a chance of losing it. The Wombats, you got to get around now. You have to get around. You don't want to go in to your defense on match point to your opposition. You need something. You need that 1 round. You need a lifeline.
I'm going to cast a curse it now, and I'm going to say this is going to be a 7-0. I can't see this going any other way, because quite frankly, Wombats are just so isolated within themselves. They aren't being aggressive. They're holding angles. They are just not... It feels like they're trying to defend the foothold they gained rather than push onto the site directly and look to take it. They are holding the footholds they establish, and then they're going, great, we're in. Now what do we do? Well, attack the site, obviously, and in order to do that, you have to get aggressive. You have to have those entry players still left alive, and they've got to have information, which they do not have every single round.
This has been a pretty difficult outing for the Wombats so far, and you mentioned that kind of they get their stronghold, they get into the building, and then they do nothing really with it. They sit and be a little bit more passive. That's
But most of the time, that's actually because aces have gotten so aggressive. They've gone, oh, foothold, let's attack it directly. And they have about 3 people go, gimme, 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 kill hunting.
I think you probably articulated my point a little bit more better than I could have done, but that's exactly it. You're getting a foothold, but so what? When you're now trying to defend a little bit of map control from the onslaught of aggression. And speaking of aggression, Valkyrie inside the kitchen, just gonna peek everything. Why not? Send some 9 million.
Why not at this point? I mean, exactly, just why not at this point? You're a 5-up lead, you can afford to take those risks. It's going to be really difficult for Wombats to even look to recover from this, and just all you have to do is just look at the movement from the players, and look, again, the ping's coming out, the teamwork's there, because they've got someone on a black eye there, pinging out, hey, I want a C4 here, as soon as they walk in, I'm going to watch it, I can say boom, boom goes the dynamite, and there's a player off the board.
Will they spot out this pre-place? Is the Valkyrie on the board this time? Not the Valkyrie, the IQ. No, it's not. My eyes deceive me. It's a curse I have. I seem really whenever I have to cast, my eyes just stop working, it feels like.
I mean, I hope Wombat's eyes are up to date. Well,
they need to update their drivers for their eyes.
Yeah, just need to update the drivers for my eyes. I hope the Wombats have better eyesight, because they're gonna need it without that IQ, because to spot those black eye cams, because it can be very difficult sometimes to spot them. They do have a blue ring light that can help, but you can easily hide that. And there goes the pre-placed C4, not finding anyone, but Dicta is almost the victim of an aggressive swing from down below. But Bionk is actually going to get the lead-off kill onto Zevon, which is actually a good first pick for Combat Wombats, but they have a minute left to find something here, and they don't really have many angles of access to get through. The Moto hatch is open, but are they going to use it?
Do they have the kitchen hatch open? I don't believe they do, so this is going to be a force through Moto and main. They could go blue as well to have that option, that a little bit of versatility, but they might spread their ranks too thin if that's the case. Less than a minute now, and the call's got to get made, so the breach in church is there, so that's going to be the play, that's the opening. Does Sandanos know it's there? It's placed quite low. He's going to run on in, so the call's being made, and so tracers go sent through the breach, so they now know it's open. The call is made, and inside of blue, you can just hold this and lock down, but some wild shots land and hit the mute. Sandanos not too keen to peek and re-emerge, but oh, Magpie finds the head. A long-range shot using the 2x, a perfect tool of destruction, but with 20 seconds left to go, the arrival has to happen soon, and what's going to be Bionk leading the charge, but met by the Alda. Dumfries shuts it down, drops the defuse, the nade is there for good measure as well, but through the breach and through the smoke goes Magpie, shut down by a second kill from the Alda. Swanee looks to get aggressive, but already the Maestro's rotated away. 5 seconds, 4, 3, it's all but over. The order falls, and that's all she wrote. Aces take round number 6 at a flawless defensive half on Clubhouse.
Wow, 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 wow. What a masterclass from all of the players so far on Aces. I can't fault a single player on there. They've all managed to do something. Zevon, Dumfries in that last round with the Older, Sandanos with the first 2, Dies, beautiful work with the Valkyrie, Mayton, Smoke. It's just incredible to see. This is Siege at its finest, and this is a real slamming of a team that really needs to come together.
This, Alright, 6-0. You go into the defense on club. Historically, the defense side of the map, not so much these days. It's getting a little bit more neutral.
Defenders protect your bombs.
I'm gonna say morale is gonna be the big ticket for this one. Can you fight back about this? Can you fight back when you're getting peaked this aggressively? It's been a nightmare matchup so far. Nothing you've done has went right. Keeping your mantle in the right way right now is important for the Wombats, and we'll see how this one plays out once we get in the action phase, but I'd be concerned just the amount of pressure Aces have put on them so far.
I mean, you have two things you can do right now if you're Wombats. Match aggression with aggression, or you play smartly and play around them. Right? You have 2 options. There is no in-between. This is the time and time again the situation that I've looked at when it comes down to teams. You either meet it or you don't, or you play smart and play around it. Because most of the time when you're challenging aggressive players, They get so aggressive at one point, they can make really big mistakes, and you have to capitalize when those mistakes are made, whether it be through positioning, utility usage, just overall team placement, because we've seen before what aces sometimes leave a good load of their players off of the site, whereas now obviously they're on the attack, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult for obviously Wombats to capitalize on that. But we've got to see something. I mean, Wombats really just have to play it smart here. I don't know. I mean,
oh my, no.
Not the first pick you want. I mean, there's the matching aggression I was talking about, but it doesn't go the right way.
Mav had no right to win that. That was being actively held by the mute, and bonk, M4 go pew pew, a little bit stronger than your SMG, I suppose. But even with the way they opened this breach, we're seeing a contrast in methodology. They had it pre-opened. They committed, okay, bonk, chew this open. All right, now we'll do the job. They have this so much better planned, at least from the initial stages. As Nath props up, will he peek from here to find anything? And looks like Zevin's at least aware of it or holding it, knowing his caution. And crosses without looking and gets shut down by the L8. You just gotta look both ways. Victor will find one on the Dumfries. Position now known as to the top red. Sandanos just doesn't care. And Magpie's next. Deep inside of sights are Canadian up, holding the crossing construction and pops the head of Jaeger. It's all down to Dicta against three. The C4 will find one, makes it a triple kill in this round. So the ace clutch is available, but Free Fire gives away her position, and all she races. Flawless 7-0.
Oh my god, what a absolute map from Aces. It was just absolution. It is the very definition of just that performance from Aces.
That is
I'm speechless.
I think, honestly, it's going to be difficult for us to try and verbalize this, but we're casters. We can try our very best, I suppose. It was as close to a flawless performance from Aces as I've ever seen. They took that idea of playing aggressive and done it beautifully. Everything was worked around the fact that they wanted to take on fights. They knew exactly what they needed to do. They established, at least on that attacking round we saw, they established the wall. They got openings inside of Garage as well, and they just won their fights. And while Siege is a game so complex, sometimes they just won 4 more ones is how it happened. And I feel that aggression was very much a key factor. They won their ones. They also played far more cohesive as a team, which is a massive benefit. You kept drawing on, just you could see from the way they were watching cams, even the yellow pings going, their cohesion, their teamwork was far more in the loop and far more useful than what the Wombats brought. There was a lot of factors that led to it, but an absolutely stellar display from Aces. 7-0 victory.
The best part was it was all controlled aggression.
Yes.
It was controlled. It was, I want to do this. Do I have the resources? Do I have the teammate coercion? Yes, I do. Okay, I'm going for it. And it pays off. Like, again, there was no player on the board that we didn't mention from Aces. We saw Dumfries go absolute, just rip and tear with the Alder. We saw Sandanos 3 times just doom music playing, and then just going havoc and just going, I'm going to find everybody. And then we saw, again, Matums wasn't a player that we mentioned much, but it looks like they were the more supporting player, playing that smoke, using the cams, all that sort of behavior. And yeah, Aces it was just a true masterclass. And Wombats, you got to step it up for next Playday, because otherwise, if that performance continues, you're going to drop in those rankings.
Yeah, that was it. Honestly, that was a pretty hard one to watch, to be honest. I'm trying to take some positive from what the Wombats done, but it's very difficult to dissect that when you look at a 7-0 defeat like that. The biggest thing I can say is you need to work on that cohesion. It just looked like that style of play, where it's 5 individuals achieving their own goals throughout the map, didn't work out this time. You know, could have done it against lesser foes, but no, Aces just proved a little too much to solve, and that aggression catches people when they play individually. And we saw that round after round after round after round. And I mean, 7-0 I think tells the perfect story of how that matchup went.
It does. And speaking of round after round after round, we're going to come back with our next game, which hopefully has a few more rounds in it.
Exactly.
Of Ludens versus Ranked Monkeys. at 6 p.m. We'll see you guys then. Take care. Don't forget, grab a drink, grab some food. That's it from me, and that's it from Whip It. We are back later though.
could conquer the night if I can make it. If I try to draw the red light, I could run through the fire. I could conquer the night if I can make it. If I try to draw the red, I could. Conquer the night if I can make it. If I try to draw the red light, I could run through the fire. I could conquer the night if I can make it. If I try to draw the red, I could.
Thinking that I could have done something, but now I'm left with an empty heart. No making amends, no waking up beside you and holding you till we forget it all. How could I know there was no second chances? Like dominoes, my life got really scattered. You couldn't keep the door shut, and now the frostbite's creeping in. 'Cause I've been stone cold since you left me here. So come home, why won't you reappear? Things that I said came out totally wrong. Can't speak of the truth when it's tainted. I fell into a big black hole. It got me stone cold.
always think of you when spring comes. Like it's something in the air at that time. Don't know why. Always dream of you when spring comes. It's like the heat on my skin takes me back to the time met you on a Friday, halfway out at the door of the club, playing soul on the weekends. Stayed in bed till Wednesday. Fell in love with you right there and then. I was young, couldn't see that. Couldn't see that. Leather jacket, though it's too cold. Saw your face in the crowd, and I think without eyes, her just perfect. Yeah, she's beautiful. Never thought you'd be here. It took me by surprise when I met you in the doorway. I had a friend of a friend. Never thought I would see you this soon, but hope she really loves you. 'Cause I swear you deserve everything. Wish that I knew that sooner. We got sober, it was over, but I told you I'll do it all over again. At your place over spring break, a heartache. I'll do it all over again. Do it all over again. Tell me a lie, and I'll tell you too. I say that I'm happy for the two of you. You wanna be friends, but I don't think I can. But I wanna be happy, happy for you.
Welcome back to the Badass University All-Stars Season 4 Playday 6. I'm Whippet, joining me is Warden, and unfortunately, we don't bring you the best of news for this evening. We've had some forfeits arise in the background, and that does mean that this game's on stream today do end. But however, Warden, you got a little bit of good news. There are going to be some results posted later on. Our team still has one more to play, and it will be off stream.
Yes. Let me just find it, because it's been lost in the chat. There are going to be games that are going to be played in the background tonight. It's RM. So Ranked Monkeys have forfeited against Ludens. They're the ones that have forfeited. And then, yeah. IOM versus the other team are going to be played at 8 in the background.
Yes, it's going to be Imperial Man them versus Delta. We'll be playing at 8 later on today. That's off stream. That is off stream, unfortunately. That means results will be posted on our socials, on Twitter, so do keep your eyes peeled on that one. It's always heartbreaking to have to end the broadcast a little bit early. It's unfortunate for that one. So I guess, that does end everything here for us tonight for Playday 6. It was a 7-0 victory, of course, for Aces against Combat Wombats to open up the stream. Unfortunately, they couldn't get to see any more action, so I guess from myself, Whippet, and Warden, we're calling it a good night. So, hope to see you guys sometime in the near future, and have a good and safe night.
See you guys.